Yes, so Buddy in equal 23rd spot all time in the AFL goal kicking. Buddy leads, Buddy in front, Franklin! Oh, he's on today, big Buddy. Here's Buddy around the body from 45 for number 7. That's party time, isn't it? Long down in the Buddy Franklin direction. First, second, third, and fourth attempt it's his. And the hand went up the moment the ball left the boot. Down in the Buddy direction. He's got Delaney to beat. Buddy can do anything. So why wouldn't he? Beats Dempster, and he's kicked 9.
He's a man that does the simple things easily and the impossible brilliantly. Buddy Franklin, 15 scoring shots last weekend for a 9-goal haul in his 200th. The Sydney Swans, they come out to Etihad Stadium. They lost the 3 of the first 4 of the year and just 1 since. They're on top of the table. Top 2 looks a certainty. They're flag favourites. They're hot favourites this afternoon. Their coach, he'd be pleased with what they're doing right now. John Longmire, he has never lost to the Bulldogs. They've won the last 5 against the Dogs under John Longmire. He's with Andrew Welsh.
Well, the final's just around the corner. Although the Bulldogs can't make it, they can't be underestimated because they seem to match up pretty well against your boys.
Well, they sure do. I mean, they're a leading side of their numbers. Their first possessions around the clearances are very good. They tackle really strongly, and they've got some enormous talented young kids out there. So, you know, we need to be at our best.
And contested footy, Kennedy out of the side today, real general in that area. It's going to be a good battle because the Bulldogs, it's a real strength of theirs.
Yeah, it is. It's what they're really good at, and Parker's been good at that for us this year, but a few others with Tommy Mitchell and Kieran Jack and a few others in the middle of the ground have to be at their best.
And Reid delayed out, nothing too serious, just didn't want to roll the dice.
Oh, he jarred his hip. We gave him every chance to play, but he was still sore after training, so he's out of the team.
Good luck.
Thanks, mate.
Well, it's a bit of a case of the have and have-nots this afternoon. Kurt Tippett, Buddy Franklin. Brendan McCartney would be enviously looking on at what the Swans have as options, but Buddy Franklin, he's going to win a 3rd Coleman medal unless something dramatic happens in either this afternoon's match or next weekend against the Tigers.
Yeah, incredible player. He just, what he's done, I can't believe a lot of the talk earlier on in the year that he's not worth what he got paid because he is an absolute champion. You can see him leading the way there. But I love his all-round game. I love the fact that he's tackling really well. He's getting involved in the game in every single area. And gee, tough to match up on him, Tim, because he's just a great player.
And if he doesn't get you, this bloke might. Kurt Tippett, who's even bigger than Buddy physically. He's bigger. He's 202 centimetres, 104 kilos. He's a monster of a bloke. He's very hard to shift in a one-on-one contest. He's got good agility too. And I think the other thing that I would like to see him bring more to his game is his ability to go into the ruck. They've been sort of a bit gentle with him in that department. Reid has been that bloke, but maybe today with Reid out, they'll actually put him into the ruck a little bit more often.
Well, the big question, I suppose, is who you play on him, because or who you play on both of them, because they're both such big power forwards. Not too many teams have got 2 of that quality to line up in the one forward line.
No, they haven't, and the Bulldogs have been found wanting all season against big forwards in games too. So Dale Morris will get another monster assignment. He's not 190 centimetres tall, 90 kilos, so he's going to be giving away height and a lot of size and strength to either Buddy or Tippett today. What we do know about him lately, he's a very, very good body player.
Yeah, he's really smart, and it's why he's made such a good career, Dale Morris. Just that subtle little nudge at the right time to get them off balance. But I'll tell you what he will be hoping for. He will be hoping for a heap of pressure in that midfield so that ball doesn't just come down flat out and to plenty of space.
You worry about Franklin and Tippett if you're Brendan McCartney, then you've got to deal with the midfield. The supply, how do you cut it off? Dan Hanbury, he's still just 23, 6th in the Brownlow last year. He's an All-Australian, he's a premiership player, he's missed 6 this year. This is his 3rd game back and he's finding some touch, Tim.
Yeah, he is, and he's one of those great endurance players too. We've seen him do that gut running from one end of the ground to the other. He's a great link player, but he's also capable, and we've seen him in great games too, big games where he's gone back into really dangerous spaces and taken courageous marks. So he's an outstanding player, one to watch again this afternoon.
1v14, we saw the Dogs last weekend. They really cost themselves with turnover against the Roos, 50-point loss.
Yeah, they just couldn't hit a target last week. They couldn't hit the side of the barn with a handful of wheat. They were just terrible when they went forward. There was pressure being applied to them, but even when there wasn't that pressure, they had time to sum it up. They weren't choosing the right option, and then they weren't hitting the target. So you just can't afford to give the ball up against a side like the Sydney Swans today.
No, absolutely, Tim. I mean, if any team does it the best in the competition, it's Sydney. They're #1 in tackles, but as soon as they create that turnover, that ball goes flying back through the middle a million miles an hour. They've generated the #1 amount of inside 50s in the competition. So the Bulldogs, they're going to have to find out a way to have some composure and not just keep coughing the ball back up to the Swans.
So the Dogs, 7 wins for the year, and 8th would be against the form we've seen of these two sides in recent weeks. Marcus Bontempelli, he's a youngster, a star. He's a man that makes Dogs fans smile.
Once you get drafted, what you really want to come and do is just, I guess, earn the respect and things like that of your teammates and your coaches. So the whole year's gone that quickly. It's just gone in a blink, really.
Bontempelli found a way out. That is an unbelievable effort from Bontempelli. If that doesn't get you off the couch at home, nothing will.
Dale Morris is my mentor, so he's been that since the start of the year, and he's been, especially early in the year, really good just to someone to go to speak to a little bit and to have a laugh with early on. But I found really quickly that everyone's willing to, I guess, mentor you and show you the ropes. So there's been a ton of guys who've helped me with that, especially probably Bob Murphy, Boydie, Mitch Wallace, a young player, a few of the other younger ones, Libbo and Dale, who just try and help you out and show you the ropes a little bit. So it's been really good.
Bontempelli from downtown once, twice, and through.
It just looks great for what we can do down the track, and hopefully that's sooner rather than later, because we'd love to start really showcasing that to the league and to the club.
Etihad Stadium, Sunday afternoon football. Dogs looking to climb a mountain this afternoon. Sub, Daniel John Siracusa, 264 games, 329 goals, made a debut against Adelaide round 11 2001 at age 19. Will he go on? Shades of grey there, suggesting perhaps he won't, but what a wonderful Bulldog he's been. On the last day of round 22, let's go down to Andrew Welsh.
Well, there's been a lot of talk around this week about the tagger, and while Lingy and I are here today, there'll be nothing but positive talk. But it's going to be interesting to see what Liam Picken does do and what Brendan McCartney will do with the tag. Does he go hard on a Hanbury type and try and shut him right down, or is he going to put a young player like McRae onto Hanbury to actually teach him how hard you have to work as a player to compete in a real strong midfield like the Sydney Swans? It's going to be a great battle in there in the contested footy. For the 12th time this year, Daniel Jean Siracusa is the starting sub for the Dogs and Laidler for the Swans.
It's interesting too, Lingy. Sam Reid comes out of the team, a late withdrawal, and actually you look at it and in a conventional sense they look better balanced.
Yeah, well, it's funny, there's just so much quality everywhere for Sydney. I think that's why we're all unanimous in our tips for today's game. And Sam Reid, he's a versatile player. He probably hasn't taken his game to quite the heights that we all thought he would. Eventually, I think he's still a young guy, so he's still a chance to do that. But this Sydney team, I mean, so much positive stuff has already been said. They are just a quality, experienced, dangerous team when they're at their absolute best.
Can I just ask you a question about tagging, though? How many times were you hit by somebody that you were tagging? How many times did you go up to the tribunal as the person that had been offended against?
No, I'm trying to think if I was maybe once.
Yeah.
So you're not often, Tim. It wasn't something.
So you don't necessarily have to go too far with your goading of the opposition player.
No, definitely not. I think if you play a defensive role on them, but if the ball's there, you go and win it. I think that's what you have more value for the team when you do that. So I'm hoping that Picken has that sort of mindset as well. Bob Murphy and Jetta there, what a lineup that's going to be. Two absolute speed machines. And it'll be one that we're keeping a close eye on today.
Umpires this afternoon, Armstrong, Ryan and Jeffrey. We're underway. Pike wins it down. Griffin over the football, through his legs. Came out the other side. Austin had a half chance. Jetta paddles it down towards half forward. Parker in trouble. McVeigh into space. Run down from behind. Griffin terrific. Ball jarred loose. This is Towers back in the team, as I mentioned, who was dropped. And then with Reid going out, gets a second chance.
And that's one of the great difficulties in playing the Sydney Swans. They didn't really have a clean possession there, but they created such momentum from the stoppage.
Tough afternoon ahead for the Dogs. Dalhouse into a dangerous position, going up and taking the easy grab. Malcheski. It was always a low percentage kick, high risk back into the corridor.
Well, it certainly was, Homer. That kick, that pressured kick coming out of your defensive 50, is the most dangerous kick, but if you're going to do it, you've got to send it towards the boundary. You can't just whack it on your boot and kick it back to a central position, because a team like Sydney set up so well, they've got the wall in place. Nick Malcheski takes the mark, he gets a shot at goal now, as opposed to potentially knocking it out of bounds if it goes along the boundary.
Well, we're so used to Malcheski providing a lot of punch from halfback. He's got an opportunity to kick the first of the afternoon, as the Swans do. They make you pay for your mistakes. The Swans are away.
Well, here's the error again from Dalhouse, and I mean, really what he had to do was try and disguise that, put it along the boundary line, even if it hit one of the players on the leg and trick it out again. I mean, that would have been a better way to set up again, as opposed to what he did.
Maybe even deliberate would have been better. This is Jong. Down he goes, claimed, ball up.
And Welshie, you asked a question about who'd go to Hanbury. It looks like Jong's got the job. Is that right?
Yeah, it's going to be a great challenge for Jong, and that's what Brendan McCartney's all about. He'll be teaching Jong how hard they've got to run, how hard they've got to compete. Interesting, Pickens trying to get to Jared McVeigh, who's been a great setup player for the Swans this year.
Towers knocked it wide. Picken, nicely done. Boyd under pressure. 2 sevens. Higgins prevails. Boyd, Austin in trouble. Down he goes. Tippett took him down. Crowd roars. I doubt it's a free kick. Or is it? No, it's not.
Isn't that great play again? I mean, they lose control of the ball, Dennis, but they're able to actually be defensive around the contest. And now they've drawn the free kick with the bigger Tippett in the ruck against somebody who's probably giving away maybe 10, 15 kilos to him, and young Ace Cordy.
So Tippett,
Campbell there.
He's got an opportunity. His second year as a Swan, the first without being the big recruit with the pressure of everyone watching and judging, but he certainly helped him on that front. Missed 8 so far this year with a knee, 1 in the kneeful. Opportunity to open his account against the Dogs early going on a Sunday afternoon, and the Swans are away. They've got a fast start. 2 straight, the Dogs haven't looked like it.
24 goals for the season then, coming in 9 games prior to this one, 23 of them. Kurt Tippett, so dangerous. It's a ruckman and the marking forward, obviously. Campbell wins it down. Cooney missed it. Over the top, Parker. Diving in is Campbell, so a real test. They're under pressure early, the Dogs. They trail by 12. Haven't been inside their 50 yet. Pike with strength. Liberatore enjoying another fine season. He's taken down. So the umpire for the 3rd time will do the business. Right in the middle.
1 metre, boys. Thank you.
Ruckman lock up. Campbell. That was no gift. Liberatore just a drive-by as they mowed him down. Flat-footed. So
thank you.
This is Sydney's football sometimes.
Well, they can't get a clean position away from the stoppage, the Bulldogs.
Coming through Parker, tried to help out. Hanbury, terrific stuff. 3rd game back, McVeigh. Half-back or in the midfield. So often the creator to half-forward he goes. And then it's a 0-all draw. Towers lets it run on by. Tippett picks it up, fires it back inside. It'll go back to Biggs. He can work it into Lloyd's hands to the top of the square. Where's Buddy? He's got a couple to beat. Campbell the defender. Morris the pusher. Dogs okay.
Campbell worked back hard there to give that support to Morris. Didn't want Buddy Franklin caught in a one-on-one situation with Dale Morris, so Campbell helping out. That looks like it's going to be a clear instruction from Brendan McCartney. Help your defenders out.
Well, a little kick, and it's not going to work out too well. Buddy, the first in the afternoon, a bump ball, he can do it all. Well, we talked about him pre-game. He is a unique specimen. You don't often see, Tim, the ball go short and then bounce over the top of a defender.
No, you don't. You don't often see what Courtney Dempsey did yesterday when he backheeled the ball into his own path. But that was a dribble kick. But the worst part about that for the Bulldogs was that they weren't able to retain possession of the ball from a really simple kick deep in their own back defensive part of the ground.
Well, we just spoke about helping out your defenders. The one thing you don't want to do is just kick it straight back to the Swans, and you certainly don't want to do it deep and give Buddy Franklin a bit of confidence and let him kick a goal. Well, the Bulldogs are on the back foot in a massive way now. Let's see how they respond, this Sydney team. They've just gone for the throat early.
14 disposals, including those 3 goals for Sydney. Cooney finds a way out. Nicely done. Dalhouse goes to half forward. Long kick inside the forward 50. Good defensive work by Rampy. Backing back on Cramry. Going nowhere, Stevens. Dalhouse needed a kind bounce, didn't get it. Cooney with his snap may kick a goal. Helped across the line by Rampy. That was better from the Dogs.
Yeah, much better, Dan. That's what they've got to do. They can't be losing every centre clearance, otherwise they're just on the back foot too much. Good centre clearance, good dangerous play up forward.
Rampy, the remarkable story, the Phelan medalist, to somehow being a man that's so highly valued. To the outer side they go, the Swans, and Goods. One of these extraordinary Swans who has a CV to be admired. They work it through on the outer side. Suddenly Biggs can choose a target. He goes looking for Franklin. Franklin uses his body. This is where he's so good on the left from a long way out. He's, on this occasion, punched it wide and Tippett. Well, he's got Roughhead to deal with, and it's going to be a long afternoon for Roughhead and Morris. They've got these formidable pair to deal with. Oh, look at the mismatch height-wise.
Height, size, everything, game. It's unbelievable, isn't it? As you said, Roughhead's got to play on Tippett because Tippett's a monster as well.
Well, the ball just bounces between a few. Boyd over the top finds the man he's played with so much. And then Murphy to Roughhead to Liberatore. Quickly to the outer side. Cooney. Haven't seen enough of Adam Cooney, a knee that's let him down in the twilight of his career. Still a young body, or a young man in an old man's body, perhaps. So the Swans rolling early.
That's my cue, wasn't it? There goes the kick around the outer side from Stringer. Ball falls behind Rovat. Nicely done. Twisted, turning to the pocket. Nicely done again. Back to back. Dalhouse against the boundary. Well, Stevens runs into an open goal. It's been touched on the way through and carried across by Lloyd. Well, for a moment, it seemed they were in for a goal, but their skills not as sharp as what we've seen at the other end so far. This is Cunningham. McVeigh. And patronising a little bit to the Bulldogs at the moment. They're up against it, but they've shown some good form on occasions this season. That's a well-weighted kick to Towers.
So Towers, who kicked his first goal last week, had to wait a while after the goal review, and then the celebration came late. Franklin, well, Stringer flew in the end, picked up cleanly. Richards goes back inside. Franklin will brush off Murphy. Well, Murphy held on for a long time. Buddy continued to charge across the face. Still, the Dogs have got to be clean and good. Campbell, Johannesson, Hanbury the tackler. Ball spills. Still in a dangerous spot for the Dogs. Malcheski's already got one. Wants to add to it. He'll add a score, but it will be a minor one.
Gee, what about that forward pressure from Sydney there? Bulldogs trying to run it out, trying to do something, but they just tackle for keeps. They come straight up on their Bulldogs opponent. Just give them no time, no space. They have started this game really well, the Swans. They're sharp.
And they lead by 17 points. This is Pickin. Left half back, high ball towards the wing. McVeigh favoured by the kick, reaches over the top, decisively knocked it away. Rovat takes the bouncing ball. McRae. Now a chance for Murphy. Rovat looks to the outer side where they've got the numbers. Needs to be precise. The kick is okay. Johannesson takes the mark. Comes back towards the middle. Austin. A couple of seasons, not too many games for Carlton. He's done well here, takes the longer option, and Pickin, where he started all of this about 30 seconds ago.
And Dennis, the ball looks pretty safe in Rovat's hands, doesn't it?
He's a good player, I like him.
So Pickin drives, Cordy, he's got Grundy to beat, got in the right spot in the end. Cordy couldn't complete the transaction. Jong sees it go through his legs, back to Rampy. Rampy, cool head, McVeigh waits a while. Jong does enough.
He's just clever in that marking contest by Grundy. Ace Cordy had the front spot. He just pushed his body under the ball a little bit, made Cordy run under it. Yeah, he's just a smart player, Heath Grundy, as a defender. Teaching the young player how to go in marking contests.
Well, scrap for the football. Liberatore, as he so often is, hands and knees.
Thanks, boys.
Hasn't done too much wrong since he did plenty wrong and got the club suspension. Hasn't missed a game, repaid the Dogs since the night out that ended his season. Bontempelli tumbles the ball forward. Cooney went without it. Here's Rovat again. Industrious. Malcheski for the moment holds him up, but illegally so. So an opportunity now for Rovat.
Are you kidding me? No. Are you kidding me? No, I'm not. There it is.
Nick Malcheski disagrees a little bit.
He's been listening to Michael Ferrito.
Yeah, I was going to say shades of Ferrito.
There's no player that said yes.
Below his shoulder, thanks. There it is.
It's a dominant ledger, isn't it? Umpires v players. So Rovat has the opportunity to register the first major of the afternoon for the Dogs. Well, I'd like to recall what he's just produced. Still a chance for Stevens. Missed one earlier. Rampy does the mopping up work, and suddenly the Swans have got possession again. Long ball to the wing where there's plenty of Dogs and not too many Swans at the moment. 3 Dogs and just the one charging Swan. Cordy, well, Morris asked to do a bit and did plenty. Did well to Johannesson.
Long kick, close to the boundary line. First order of business for both players there. Get it out. Bulldogs get a chance to regroup. For that matter, so do the Swans.
Bombing the ball in there. Sorry, Dennis. Bombing the ball in there won't get the job done against this City defence. That's what they love, those long, high balls.
Tippett. Campbell falls behind the pair. Smith tried to get through, couldn't. Down goes Stringer. And the ball up. So a lot of stoppages so far.
Sorry, Dan, I just love this from Dale Morris. This is him coming up there. He left Buddy Franklin to go then. Very brave. If that got over the back, that was a Franklin goal. Well done, Dale Morris.
So Smith hacks the ball around the corner. Again, a chance for Austin. Goods is a hard man to beat. Goods to a bit of space. Cooney. A couple of Brownlow medalists combine. A blitz on opposing sides. Back inside the 50. Who's there for the Dogs? Bontempelli goes back with the flight. Well, the Swans have all the answers. And Tippett doing it at both ends. So Rowan to Malcheski, and suddenly space in front of the Swans. Grundy quickly in turn to Lloyd, to Malcheski, and over the top to Goods, who's got Austin charging back at him. Goods, well, rarely beaten. Onto the left boot, long ball, Buddy Franklin. Well, the recovery, normally Franklin, a specialist at it, takes some time, almost arrogantly so. This time to Jeddah. Jeddah! The Swans are hot. And Jeddah's involved. Well, Buddy Franklin, he just held the ball arrogantly so, waited for Dogs to come at him, and then a little mate in Jeddah just floated by, and what a finish.
That's just not fair, as we see Kurt Tippett there just floating back. He's playing as their backup ruckman today, so we're going to see a little bit more of him up the ground today. But there's just a lot of almost an arrogance there about Buddy, the way that he controlled the ball then and then just shot it off to Jeddah, and hardly daylight between the goalposts, but that was just one of those brilliant kicks. I mean, he summed up, he knew exactly what he was doing, got the right curve on the ball, and that is just a brilliant finish.
Started with Tippett. That was a very strong mark. Through Goods, Franklin, and finally a wonderful goal. And for the highlight reel, Pike got boot to ball. Parker, Lloyd, Hanbury. Chips towards the wing. Towers is finding plenty of the football. As we said, left out on Thursday night, back in because Reed pulled out. 60 metres out, under pressure, miscues with a kick, and Peckin has been defiant down there, gets in the road.
Well, you can just see, Dan, the intent of the two teams. Out of the 11 marks that Sydney have taken, they've played on from 8 of those. The Bulldogs yet to play on from a mark as they turn it over again.
Austin's kick, not good. Cunningham, 70 metres from goal. Goods on the move this time. Try and stop them all. So Goods could just about get the trip. Just wonder what Brendan McCartney can say about these big guys. The old chestnut, he goes short and finds Lloyd. The old chestnuts, they put their trousers on one leg at a time, but they're very big trousers.
Well, he's right on the mark. Dennis, I will tell you one thing that Brendan McCartney wouldn't like, and that's this mark to Jake Lloyd. He'd be really disappointed with that. He can accept a bit of a poor kick. It's a mistake. Nobody means to turn the footy over, but when you've got your defence set up there, you cannot let an uncontested mark inside your defensive 50 like it was to Lloyd. He'll be very angry at that.
Jake Lloyd. Kicks truly. Wow.
Well, here's a turnover. I talked about these pre-game, about the fact that they weren't as nearly as careful with the ball as what they need to be, and already they haven't been able to take good care of it.
So 5 goals to the Swans, 5 individual goal scorers. It is a deadly attack, so sharp early in this first term, and by comparison, other attacks look like they're a blunt knife, and the Dogs at the moment looking slightly so. To the outer side, Dalhouse, who always so industrious as Nick Smith, riding him hard. Biggs, not quite. Richards. Well done there, Mitchell. The give to Grundy, terrific. Under pressure, Jack. He's going to get the free kick for being taken high.
See why they're a good team, Sydney? It's because if you let a young team like the Bulldogs get a little bit of confidence, let them get off to a good start, you make it a really hard day for yourselves. But if you do what Sydney are doing right now and just go whack right from the start, you can just end up making the day easier. The game goes your way, it's played on your terms. Just a real quality start by the Swans.
Well, Mitchell to tip it. Mitchell, his 5th game for the year, hasn't played since round 4 when he was injured and has been in and out of the knee with injury. Tip it. It's going to end up in Dogs' hands, but shows you how hardly he is to get a game in this side. He got 65 in the kneeful and couldn't break back in. I think that was the week the Cats were slaughtered by the Swans.
65 and kicked 4 goals as well, so tough team to break into.
Picking around the outer side. He's been good picking so far. Cranberry is outnumbered. Richards, that'll be 50. You just get the feeling the Bulldogs are a little overawed. I mean, their skills aren't always good, but today in particular, some of their kicking has been terrible, as though it's all a bit much at the moment. So hopefully they settle down soon.
They just don't get anything easy, though, when you play against a side like the Sydney Swans. Dan, everything is hard, and so when you do get the opportunity, you rush it.
So here's the kick from Richards, who doesn't kick too many goals. He misses.
Gee, it would have been his first goal, Dan. You'd be disappointed with that. Every defender loves to sneak down and pinch one. Teddy Richards would be filthy on himself there.
Is that for the season?
Yeah, that's for the season.
Because he did play a bit up forward, didn't he, Tim?
He started, at Essendon, he started as a forward. He actually went to Sydney as a forward.
Yeah, took Sydney to straighten him out. Opportunity now for McRae, hard against the boundary line. Heard a voice, goes back to it. Rough head the high ball towards the wing then. In from the side, trying to shield the drop of the ball. Cramry, Cordy, Boyd. Again a poor kick. Although that was intent, he was trying to drive it low through the pack. Rampy finds Franklin.
I think he's saying he touched the ball. Did the officiating umpire further up actually signal that the ball was taken, or just the Bulldog players interpreted it as that?
Just leave it there.
That's probably not going to cut it either when you say it looks like it was touched. There goes the kick. Franklin puts it through.
Rampy's doing a really good job on Cramry. They've got Smith on Dalehouse. They're 2 most dangerous forwards. They've got 2 great defenders on them too.
And Dale Morris would be filthy. He would have been looking at that going, he's going to mark the ball on me, but don't give him a 50. Don't give him a sitter from the goal square. Come on.
20 minutes in, and it's a 6-goal lead and more about to be applied, you would think. Malcheski, well, ugly sort of a ball. Easy enough for McRae. Back to Murphy. His 15th year at this level. His 14th with a beauty. Over the top he goes. Bouncing ball again for McRae to deal with this time. Taken high. Hard not to be impressed with McRae. I know he was given a stern talking to by Coach McCartney a few weeks ago, but he's had some sort of a season.
Yeah, clever player, really smart, good ball user. He's got all of those elements Brendan McCartney will be trying to teach him. But make sure he works both ways in the midfield. It's not all about just getting the footy. You've got to take part in every element of the game.
So Griffin, a little confused, nothing really obvious ahead. Now Stevens quickly to Boyd, Boyd to Cooney, through a few Swans, retreats, but the Dogs keep possession. McRae, lateral movement good, gets around McVeigh, and now to half forward. This is where they've been falling down, and well done, Parker. Did enough, sent it over, and the Swans can get themselves set again. All very hard for the Dogs right now.
Have a look at the Sydney first quarters there. That's for the season. That is remarkable difference, where they've won 15, lost 5 first quarters, but the scoring just so impressive. They put teams under the pump straight away.
Cordy knocked it down. Liberatore taken high. Saw John Longmire moments ago. Has a perfect record, 4 out of 4 against Brendan McCartney. There goes the kick, searching one inside the 50. 2 players fell over. Then Malcheski dropped the mark. Rowan involuntarily just socketed forward. Malcheski kicks it around the outer side.
Liberatore, clever little slap to McRae, in turn to Murphy. Now, who's at home for the Dogs? Plenty of Swans. Richard flew, well, in the end, a nice clean take, a chance to go back, and then intercepted by Richards. With it, Rovac that got a hand in and took the football He is a clean player, not able to find his man on that occasion. So Rovat be trying to cement himself into this Bulldogs outfit. Pike against Campbell, who's been used sparingly. So too Cordy. Minson, the man, was dropped this week.
Fine. Work. Thank you. Thanks. I'll make this way. Stay meter. Thanks, Mike.
Mike Pike on first name basis. Hanbury works it to Goods. Goods again. Cooney with him. Richards fumbled. Liberatory gathered. McRae. Stop. Look. Give. Boyd. A chance. Can the Dogs get there first? The old dog delivers. Well done, Matty Boyd.
Great sharp hands there by Libba. Jack McRae just lowering the vision. Clever, just not bombing away. Great finish by Matty Boyd. Very happy with that one there. On the board now with goals. They've got to make sure they get another one now. They can't let Sydney score again before quarter time.
130 points. Parker to McVeigh, down towards half forward. Well played by Roughhead, knocks it to his own advantage, tracks it out towards the boundary. Dalhouse, older teammate Bonapelli into trouble. He was wrapped up immediately. Notice that umpire Jordan Bannister's out there, so we've lost an umpire actually. He was the emergency. Don't think we've lost him in the game, but obviously one of the trio has pulled out. And I know you want that information, and we're going to get it for you.
Well, Cordy gets caught behind. Tippett knocks it down, and then Liberatore sharks and goes searching. Well,
shoulder.
Either way, it was McRae in the right spot. Dogs surge forward. Griffin, Crammery, all ugly stuff.
It's just not smart by Griffin. He's a good footballer, but there's no advantage there. Running along the boundary, pressure on. Just let Jack McRae take that. Let him see the game, have a bit of composure. You don't need to take the advantage every single time.
So Cordy doing the ruck work. He's had very little time in this side. He's been in the system since 2008, just his 20th game today. He debuted in 2011, so he has been rarely let off the leash for a variety of reasons. Injury, body size, form. A lot of pre-seasons, not too many games yet. Caught between a couple of Swans. He won't get away from Luke Parker.
It just shows holding the ball there. It just shows the pressure that the Swans do make their players on it. Griffin, one of the coolest players with the footy. Crammery hasn't touched the ball yet, fumbles it. It's just this elite pressure that the Sydney Swans are putting the Bulldogs under at the moment.
Well, Tim, what do you say at quarter time if you're Brendan McCartney as the coach with all that pressure that's on them? What do you say to your players?
Well, you know, the area they're breaking down most at the moment is their turnovers with their defenders. 4 of the goals for Sydney have actually come from the turnovers. So that's what they're doing at the moment. They're going after the Bulldog defenders. So I think it's just a matter of just taking a little bit of heat out of the game.
Well, Franklin on the move. Is he required? It'll be Pike who kicks his first of the afternoon.
Is that going through untouched? I believe it's a goal. Okay. All right. It's a free kick, so we'll do a score review. Sounds good. Let's check it off. Free kick ball.
So we go to our most popular segment.
Score review. We believe it's gone through for a goal. We just want to confirm. Review underway.
Well, that's advantage, isn't it? So they've got to take it.
No. We're just checking to see if it's gone through, like we would, and then we'll give them the option to take the. We'll give them, if it's a point, we'll give them the option to take the point or the kick.
Going cross-eyed, Hammer. Which one do you want to choose?
Point or not?
Well, Mike Pike's head is what we're looking at, I assume.
Did that go through his fingers?
Oh, fingers too.
Considering it's a free kick, just
go. Review completed. Confirmed goal.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Advantage goal.
All crystal clear.
Mike Pike wanted the kick, I think. He paid the free kick.
Well, Goods is on the goal scorer's sheet. Franklin's got a couple. Jetta, Lloyd, Tippett, Malcheski, and now Adam Goods. It is an embarrassment of riches for John Longmire. Not sure whether it was touched or not. Won't matter. History will say he kicked the goal in round 22 in the first term against the Dogs. Mike Pike is the only man adding confusion to it.
Why, Tim, wouldn't they just say that's inconclusive, giving the free kick at the top of the square saves any argument?
That's a very good common sense thing to say.
44 plays 8. We're back in the middle.
What are you doing up here?
Just over 3 minutes before quarter time. Campbell on the way down, taps it wide. Parker cleverly into the path of Jack, who kicks it out towards the wing. Biggs leads in the race here, close to the boundary line. Stays in. Jack goes off the deck. Down avoids half forward. Hanbury could have been pushed in the back. McRae tries to find a way through. Nothing doing. Now Stevens running out of space. He's over the football. Needs to be careful. Well, wrenched away from him by the bigger man Tippett, who gets to his feet.
That's got to be hot.
On the ball. Ball was free. Back to him.
Well, that was ambitious by Tippett. Worth the price of admission just watching him do that, but he gave up a free kick. Now Roughhead goes to the other side of the ground. There's the veteran Morris. Nothing much to go to. He couldn't kick it to the closest Bulldog down that side, and Goods was in the gap, so we had to go back. This is Roughhead. Roughhead spots Dalhouse, and he takes the mark just up from the back pocket.
Again, they've just closed them down so quickly and forced them back across the ground. Now they're into a slow play, the Western Bulldogs, and the Sydney defence is just reorganising itself.
Still good running by Stevens.
Timothy, a side that applies pressure as well as anyone right now in the league.
Oh, they're right up there. I mean, we saw that with Hawthorn again last night. They're absolute best, and Fremantle too, but they know each other's games so well.
Morris, a rare win against Buddy. It is hard to do. An obvious free kick going the way of Morris, and as we tick down to quarter time, it has been all Sydney. 7-1, 6 individual goal scorers. Buddy has a couple.
Right there, yep.
They're just tentative from here, aren't they? I know they're probably thinking, let's get into quarter time here. Happy to be a bit safe, but that's what they've been all quarter. Sydney have just, it's been completely on Sydney's terms.
They've struggled to move it past halfway with too much fluidity.
Even the example of that is Lin Jong, who's got the job on Dan Hanbury, yet to touch the football. He's a midfielder, he's playing a run-with role, but you need to get your hands on the footy to generate a bit of offence for your team. He's just really reactive, just wanting to concentrate completely on Dan Hanbury.
Parker, a little give, Biggs taken cleanly and then off to Hanbury inside, sees the man he wants, and Jetta, we know he's got some dash, he runs to 70. Well, Tippett, Mark, terrific stuff. Roughhead read it well. There are 3 dogs. They talk. On this occasion, they didn't talk too well. Chance for Cunningham. He's a deadly finisher. Doesn't go looking too far. Just looks for Tippett. Chooses a nice option. The kick terrific, and Tippett can go back and try and kick another.
Another turnover inside their defensive 50, and really brought about by great pressure again. The ability to cover the ground, and the small forwards of Sydney just working so hard.
It's unfortunate because that mark by Roughhead was brilliant, but just then a silly handball, silly turnover, set up a shot at goal now.
The Swans mids have got some serious weaponry to choose from, haven't they? They look ahead and they go, well, do I go to Goods, to Tippett, to Buddy? Reed, the laid out, Tippett for his second. Not on this occasion. I'm just thinking about the Reed brothers. They have had a horrid run with injuries. They've missed a collective 35 matches since the start of last year. Sam's now missed 20, including today. Ben, 15.
So 12 seconds to go end to end here for the Dogs. Higgins. See if he can. Comes out very wide. Oh, no. Oh, no. Out on the full by a step.
Back to him now. Stay there.
So Cunningham will take a shot at goal. Just drops it in short. Well done. He's been quiet, Griffin, but that time ghosting across in front of the pack to claim the mark. Griffin coming up for his 5th disposal, denied by the siren. So at quarter time, much as expected. Sydney Swans tuning up. They're 7-3-45. So dangerous on the forward line. There's one of their stars. And that guy, well, we've seen most things, but that was a difficult quarter even for him. 7-3 plays 1-2 on Sunday afternoon football.